Hey fam, it's your girl, Miss Diva Trucker, and one of the videos that I failed to do was a video on, give me one second, was a video on how to pay off your truck as a lease driver, okay? There's so many drivers that are far and few between starting a lease purchase and not paying the truck off, okay? So since I have paid off a truck, and since I do have a title in my hand, okay, I want to be able to share those tips with you so you will be able to do that as well, okay? Each one teach one, okay? And as you know, I started the journey in 2014 is when I got my CDL license, okay? I started off at KLLM with a lease purchase program, straight out of training. One of the things that helped me be successful in a lease was, number one, I didn't have all the overhead expenses such as a apartment, utilities. Hey, Sin. Utilities, a car note, insurance, a household to take care of. Okay, so that is the reason why I went lease purchase first out the bat, because I didn't have anything to lose. Okay, did I know a lot about it? No, but I am going to share 5 tips tonight that will help you if you are a new driver or if you are a company driver and you are thinking about purchasing your own truck through a lease program. You will be able to do that successfully if you follow these tips, okay? Please understand, this is just my opinion. It's not a rule book or whatever saying that you have to do it, but I'm telling you and sharing with you the knowledge that helped me, myself, get a title, okay? Some people may agree, some people may not, but I would rather take advice from someone who has a title in their hand, okay? Now, let's start. I did a couple, 2 years, I think, at KLLM, left a certain period of time, came back, or whatever the case may be. What I should have done is I should have kept my lease at KLLM. I had a brand new truck. I only had to be paying on that truck for 5 years. It was a $0 buyout, and my payment was only $550 a week. And at that time, you can also train where you would be able to double your income, kind of, okay? So as a lease purchase driver at KLLL, when I came out, I was making an average about $1,500 a week. Now, a lot of experienced drivers or owner operators will tell you or say to you that ain't no money, okay? But what is good money to you depends on what your out-of-pocket cost is. $1,500 to me a week, and I didn't have a car note. I didn't have a rent payment. I didn't have a light bill. I didn't have a water bill. I didn't have car insurance because I didn't have a car. All those things, that was money that I had that I did not have to pay. The only bill that I had was a cell phone bill, okay? And to help out with my kids and my mom as much as possible, okay? So $1,500 to me went a long way, okay? instead of $1,500 to anybody else. Number one, you cannot live and go by somebody else's plan. You have to go on your own plan and develop that plan to what is catered to you and your situation. Okay. Your situation is not going to be my situation. My situation is never going to be your situation. Okay. So you have to make sure that you develop a plan according to your situation. I didn't have kids at home, a spouse at home, somebody that I need to run home to. Okay. And take care of and make sure that they was okay. Okay. You may have to do that. Okay. So those are some things that you want to take in consideration. So being paid 80, I think it was 80 cents a mile or 88 cents a mile or whatever the case may be, running 3,000 miles a week, bringing home $1,500 a week was plenty of enough for me, for Tamara. Okay. Now, the biggest mistake that I did make was I fell into the trap of listening to other owner operators, other drivers at other companies telling me that was not enough money. You're being cheated. You're being ripped off. I would never do something like that. Even though KLLM fleet had mostly lease drivers, okay? They had a record of drivers paying off their trucks with their titles, okay? And they had most of their customers, most of their freight was their own customers. We was hardly ever on the load board. Okay. They made it so easy that all you had to do was follow the blueprint and drive. Okay. We was getting paid cents per mile. Okay. So if you did your numbers and you knew that if you made 3,000 miles, which was about 500 miles a day, okay, you was going to be okay. And the only time that you would have an issue or a problem is when you took off and you learned to run enough miles to pay for your fixed costs and then take off the rest of the week. So you're not in the hole, right? You're not going to be in the hole, but you may not get a check. So there was times that you can go on vacation or, whatever the case may be, you can do that. Okay. Me being from Mississippi and also with KLLM being in Mississippi, it made it easy for me to come to the yard and take a 34-hour reset in the state that I lived in. Okay. So first thing that you want to do is develop your own plan. Do not follow what everybody else is doing because that may not be what works for you. Okay. What I did was I left KLLM after a year. I was training. Okay. So when you train, your check was not $1,500 a week. Your check was actually about $3,000 a week when you trained and you had a good student. Okay. So now I'm not making $1,500. I'm making $3,000. Then KLLM had what is called a referral program. Okay. So that meant any driver that you referred to KLLM, I think you got $3,000 for that. So I used my platform on YouTube to tell everybody I knew about KLLM, and that was an additional amount of money that I made. So a lot of times I was making more money than a person that was an owner operator running on percentage or even on their own truck, because all I had to do was two things. I trained, which I love doing, and I recruited, which I love doing. And some reason I started listening to other people. Like, I wouldn't train. I wouldn't risk my life and put another student in my truck. I wouldn't let them tear up my truck. I wouldn't do this. I wouldn't do that. And then they would talk about, I would never work for 80 cents a mile. That's a ripoff. Then not only that, you had to hear about, oh, they ain't nothing but a recruiter. The only reason why they making any money is because they're recruiting for the company. First thing that you got to realize is your plan has to be for you. Okay? No matter what the naysayers say, no matter what anybody else say, if it's a plan that is working for you, then you go with that plan. Okay? Where I made the biggest mistake of my driving career was listening to other people that wasn't doing what I was doing, was not probably making what I was making, but I thought there was a greener grass on the other side. So what did Tamara do? Tamara left a place that I had already paid a year on my truck, had a low truck note of $500 a week, was making $3,000 a week with a student. Then I was making $3,000 for every referral, and Miss Tamara had a referral or two coming in every week. You would see when I came to the yard in Jackson, Mississippi, it was a photo shoot. Okay. I would come on the yard and it would be 5, 6 drivers every Monday in orientation. And they was there because of watching my videos, or they heard about, KLLM, because I talked about them so much. Why wouldn't I talk about a company that I was very successful? Now, are there going to be people that are not successful? Of course, that's going to be at every company that you go to. There are going to be people that are going to be bitter, not making money, complain about every situation, every load, every this, every that, whatever the case may be. There is not a company that you can name and tell me that is 100% perfect and never have a problem, and everybody at the company is totally happy. Okay, you're going to get that everywhere. Okay, so what I did was I started listening to other people. Oh, you should come over here. They doing sign-on bonus. They doing, you're gonna get this, you're gonna be making this. You can have your own fleet over here. They're on percentage. You get to pick your own loads, and at that point in time, I thought picking my loads was going to give me some sort of extra freedom. Okay. When it didn't, it was more work because I had to get up in the morning. I had to negotiate with brokers. I had to, wonder where I was going to pick up this load. Okay. It wasn't the same as when I was working and I was being dispatched. I didn't have to worry about anything. As soon as before I even dropped the load, I had another load waiting on me to go. And I decided if I wanted to take that load or not. Right? So I already had a dispatcher, but I wanted to go over where I could pick out my own loads and work on, I think it was 75% of the load. And you get to pick, you can have a dispatcher if you want that. And I thought that was, freedom. And I was going to be making a lot of more money than I actually was. Okay. So when I left KLLM, I went over to a company that was 75%. And I'm not going to lie to you. I went over there because they had brand new trucks. They had Lone Stars. Everybody was riding in the Lone Star, or they was riding in a Volvo 780. It was all new. Lo and behold, that majority of us that was in orientation or at that company did make over $1,000 a week. And was too embarrassed to let people know that we wasn't making over $1,000 a week. Okay. I had got to the point where Guys, I couldn't even help my kids out. I had left KLLM with over $15,000 in the bank. Got over to the new company. Not only did they not pay me, my first check was good. And after that, everything was fuel, everything you had to talk to this person about, everything, it was just a mess. Okay, Lowe's was canceling. People didn't want to book your loads because they was late. It was just a hot mess. And I remember one time I had ran all the way up to Washington State. Okay. And I had been running all these miles. And at the end of the week on Friday, these people had a nerve to told me that I owed them $400 when I never had a problem with making a paycheck. And I found myself questioning, how in the world did I get myself in this situation? And it had got to a point where I just said, I cannot do it anymore. And why was I over there? Why? Because I did not follow the plan that was already working for me. I went and tried to work a plan that somebody else told me about, and it was not for me. So here I am back at the drawing board. So what did I do? I went back to what was working for me. Got another truck, a Volvo 780. Okay, didn't get a brand new one because I still wanted to pay it off, right? So I didn't get a brand new one. I still wanted to pay it off. So I got a used Volvo. I went back to training. I went back to recruiting because I'm back, and I started making my money back. Everything's good. Students good. Money coming in, saving up. Everybody happy. Still didn't have a car, a vehicle, a house, or anything like that. Right? So I'm back into the swing of things. Now I ain't got 5 years to pay it off. I got maybe 3.5 because I got an older truck, right? Here comes, my ex-husband come back in the picture. So he could not come to to KLLM. So I up and leave again to try to make a relationship work. Okay, by going to LTI, right? So now I'm starting over again, trying to pay off a truck. That's another 4 years. So I could have been finished 2 years earlier if I would have stuck with my plan, right? What do you need to do? What do you need to be successful? Got over to LTI. Thank God, they had a lease purchase program. And I said, no matter what happens, I'm going to stay here. Okay. LTI had the same referral plan, $3,000 a driver, but they split it up. The owner-operator lease purchase program was a little bit more money. You did not have to run 48 states. It was mostly like 16 states. Okay. And they had added a training program, so I can be a trainer as well. Okay. So I'm back running. Got over to LTI, started, making my money, saving my money. Find out that, the relationship, the teaming did not work for me. Okay. But I kept at it at the lease purchase and kept at it at the truck. Right. And some of you guys may remember what my engine blew up in my truck in my Kenworth. And so happened that LTI gave me another truck, which was its 2016 Freightliner, to continue to pay off on that and make that work for 4 years when I could have had the Kenworth paid off, I think, in 3, but the engine blew. Okay. So you got to was every day at LTI trucking the best day ever that I brought home all this money? No, There was times where I had a $500 check. There was times where I may have had a $300 check, where I may have went on a took days off or whatever the case may be. But the goal was to pay off the truck. The only thing that I had to look at was the date of the payoff. Okay. When I got extra money, when I got a extra referral, when I got a driver referral or made extra money or whatever the case may be, I would go in there and pay down on my truck. Okay. LTI did not have a buyout. Okay. It was only $1 buyout. That is another reason why I chose to go to that company. Okay. It was very similar to KLLM, but you did not have to run 48 states. Okay. So step one, when you're in a lease purchase program, the first thing you need to realize is, are you in a lease or are you in a lease purchase? There is two separate programs. Okay. Prime has a lease and a lease purchase. If you did not put any money down on that truck, most likely you are in a lease. And at the end of it, you turn the truck back in. Okay. A lease purchase for Prime, you do have to put a down payment down. And then over a period of time, you will own that truck. These are the leases that I like. Okay. One of them is no down payment, right? No down payment, because you got to stay with that company anyway. The second one is low payments. Okay. Low payments. I like $450, $500, $550 payments. Okay. We could work with that. The third one is no buyout. Okay. You don't work 4 years to try to pay this truck off. And at the end of that 4 years, they come to you and tell you that they need another $30,000. How many of you guys have an additional $30,000 in the bank if you was to complete your lease? I don't like leases like that. Okay, because the only thing that they do is extend the payments if you do not have the money to pay it off. And then by then the truck break down. Okay, so then you're in a whole nother financial burden or situation or whatever the case may be. You want a short-term path to ownership. Okay, 3-4 years. You want a low down payment if you have to make one, a low or no down payment. Okay, you want the opportunity to drive quality equipment. Does that mean that you have to get something brand new? When I first came out of trucking school, all I wanted was brand new because I did not want to be broke down out on the side of the road. But after my second, third year in trucking, I did not want nothing brand new. I wanted something used with a low payment, with no buyout, and that was still under warranty. Okay, so when I got my truck, it had 300,000 miles on the truck. Okay, take care of your equipment if that's something that you are going to pay off. Make sure you're in there getting your oil changes. Make sure you're checking your fluids. Make sure you're doing every possible thing because you're paying maintenance to take care of the truck. Okay, getting it there on its on-time duty to make sure that the tires are done, everything possible so you don't have a breakdown out there on the road, right? Do your homework on truck leasing programs before you go jump into a program, because they pay 75% of the load or 88% of the load or whatever the case may be. Run the numbers with the truck payment, when you're going to pay it off, what your check is going to be looking like every week. See if you can get some other driver settlements of what they're making. Okay, don't believe everybody word of mouth. Okay, anytime that I refer drivers over to KLLM or to LTI, I back it up with my settlement statement. Okay, do your own numbers, run your numbers, know what your expenses are, see if that is something that will work for you. You can't work at a company paying 88 cents a mile if you got a $2,000 a month mortgage, a light bill, a spouse, 4 kids, and all that kind of stuff. That might not work for you. Okay, so you have to find something that works for you, so you will be able to pay all your bills and pay the truck off in the period of time. Okay. Ask a lot of questions. Talk to people that work at the company. Know your weekly rates. Know what they're going to be taking out for your escrow and your payments. Okay. Read your contract before you sign it. How many of you guys sign a lease purchase agreement and don't read your contract? Okay. Remember, that truck is not yours. You have to stay with that company until you pay it off. If you do not stay at the company, guess what, guys? Every company you move to, you starting over. Starting another 4 to 5 years. So that means that every time you leave and go to another company, that whole money that you took, if the payment was $600 a week, times 4 equals $2,400 a month. If you stayed at that company a year, 12 months, you have already paid $28,000 on that truck. And then you decide, because one day or a situation where you sat for the weekend, or you heard somebody talking about how it's better over here, or whatever the case may be, you get up and you walk away and you leave $28,000 on the table of 1 year of you paying off your truck. Now you go somewhere else and you starting all over. And not only that, you want you a brand new truck at the new company. Okay, so now you 5 more years at that truck. You stay over there 2 years. Let's say it's $600 a week times 4. You paying $2,400 a month times 12 months. You paying $28,000 a year times 2. You done stayed there 2 years. Okay, you have paid $57,000 for a truck that you stayed at a company for 2 years, and because you got upset, or they're not giving you the miles, or whatever the case may be, you walk away. You done gave them $57,000. Okay, you done gave them $57,000, and now you at another company starting over. Okay, by year three of your trucking career, and you at your third company, at your third lease, you done gave away about $100,000 and still haven't completed lease 1 yet. And every time you move to another company, every time you start another lease, you start over, and now you at another company with a brand new vehicle, looking at another $100 and something thousand. Hoping that this company is going to be miraculous and you're going to be making all kinds of money for the next 5 years. Okay, you done threw away $100,000, and you're starting over with a new lease for another 5 years. So now, if the goal is the plan is for you to be out of trucking in 5 years, you just added on years to paying off the truck, because either one or two things are going to happen. Either you're going to start saving your money and buy you a truck, finance you a truck, or whatever the case may be. So whenever get your attitude or get pissed off, or somebody set you, or there's no freight, or whatever the case may be, at least you had a chance to take your truck with you, so you can continue to pay your truck note if you go to another company. But if you do a lease purchase with the company, every time you leave, you're starting over. Every time. Okay? So you either going to save your money and buy your own truck, or you're going to continue to start the cycle over. That is why over 85% of drivers that start a lease purchase do not complete it. Okay? Do your homework. Number 2, understand the difference between lease and lease purchase. We went over there. No money down, no credit check, late model, keep your costs down low, things like that. Number 3, choose the right equipment. Okay? You don't have to get brand new all the time. Okay? I want something as an experienced driver. Me, I don't want brand new. I can't afford brand new. I can't afford brand new payments. I can't afford nothing brand new. I have learned this industry that I want a vehicle, I want a truck, okay, that I can work on or get it worked on whenever I need to. I can keep my costs down low, and it will make it from point A to point B. I don't care how good I look in the truck. Some of us, we got to have chrome. We got to have everything on that truck to go down the highway. Okay, give me a Freightliner, Cascadia to make it from point A to point B with good fuel mileage. I'm good. Okay, I'll decorate it myself. I'll put some pink stuff on it, make it look good, or whatever the case may be. Okay, we get caught up in all these additional accessories that we don't need. That's causing us to go further and further in the hole. Every $3,000 to $4,000 that we spending on rims, chrome, and all this extra stuff is money we could be paying that truck off. Okay? Don't nobody care how you look going down the highway. We just care that you make it down the highway safely. I just need you to pick up the load and get it to the receiver. Okay? Remember this. The load pays the same no matter what truck you arrive to get it in. If it's a 2003 Freightliner, or if it's a 2021 Volvo 780, 860, I think they got now. The load still pay the same. Okay? Whether you got a $3,000 truck note or if you got no truck note, the load pays the same. It doesn't go off of what kind of equipment you picking it up in. Okay? Choose the right equipment. I happen to believe in used trucks. Okay? I happen to believe in Freightliner Cascadias. They like the Ford of trucks. Okay, you can pull them into the Petro, to the TA, to the Loves. You can pull it into your uncle's place, and he probably could work on it and fix it. Okay, I believe in Cascadias. I don't care. I wanted to be a Volvo person. Okay, Volvo parts take too long to get here. You be in a hotel for a whole week waiting on Volvo parts. Okay, Freightliner, they got it on deck. Right there. Oh, what you need? A motor? Here we is. We got motors right here. Freightliner, what you got? Okay. Choose the right equipment. Pay attention to your fuel mileage. How many miles you getting per gallon? Know about your warranties. Know about your breakdown pay. Know about your bumper to bumper warranties. Know about that. Okay. Estimate your costs. You should know how many miles I got to run before I can take off so I won't be in a hole. You should automatically know that. Okay? You should automatically put money away if you want to go on a cruise. The higher you make your payments, the harder it is. The higher you make your payments, the harder it is to pay that truck off. Okay? Look, guys, nobody care about how you look going down that highway. You could do one good video about how good your truck look, and if you're not making any money, it's not worth it. Get you something that's reliable. Get you something that you can fix and get back on the road and keep it pushing. Okay, especially if you want to build a fleet and you want to add drivers. Okay, I knew that I couldn't put a driver in my truck until my truck was paid off. It was just not going to work. If I'm making $1,500 a week, I can't put a driver in there. What, they're gonna make 1,000? I'm gonna make 500, and that's with them running 3,000 miles. Okay, so that means that they get 1,000, I get 500. That's with them working 3,000. So what happens when they go home? What happens when they only make 1,500 miles? I'm gonna have to owe them money. Anticipate your earnings and saving opportunities. When you in a lease purchase, the key to the game is don't turn down any loads, especially if you're on cents per mile. Run it. Do what you have to do. Save. When you got bonuses, when you got extra money, when you're training, whatever the case may be, save that money, because it's not if a rainy day is going to come. It's coming. There's no way that you're going to be able to run your truck for 4 years straight and nothing happened. It's not if, it's when. It's coming. Anticipate that. Okay? Anticipate that you're not going to be able to run for a week. Anticipate holidays and things like that. Anticipate an emergency coming up. Okay? And this is not for people that, doing their thing, that's been in the industry, that, you can't tell them nothing. They know everything. This is for people that is just getting in the industry and you are thinking about doing a lease purchase. I'm telling you, be focused. Don't worry about nobody else and what they're doing. Take care of you and your responsibilities. And if it works for you, keep it pushing. Okay? Knowing that you have a date that truck is going to be paid off, you work towards that date. And then at the end of that, you too will come home with your truck and your title. All right. I hope that helps you guys. I'm not going to keep you long. I'm going to bed. Peace, love, joy. happiness, and you all have a great and wonderful night. Bye.